What's new with Browne? We've just been talking about your lyrics. We have already had a little conversation. We've been talking about your music, and you said that you emphasize the lyrics in your music. Can you explain me why?
The reason is this. The lyrics in my songs really mean a lot to me. As I said before, I don't know if I am a great singer or a good singer or whatever it is, but the way I feel my lyrics, I sing it in this feeling that it comes out that way, and so I am glad that I have positive points from a lot of people say that it's good. I am happy for that. I think it's because the lyrics mean so much to me. If you take the time to listen, or if you know the story, then you will probably agree with me.
But there's something I can't agree. You also said before that you write, for example, 10 lyrics a year and 10 poems a year and no more. Isn't it so that you want to express something without limitation? If you have an idea, you write it down. Yeah. And if you have no idea, you can't write anything. But why is it limitation of for 10 songs?
I concentrate a lot on what I'm doing. Lyrically as well, as musically, but more lyrically, as I said before. I don't see a reason why I should write more songs, than that. I'm not Elton John, who is a machine who can turn out things like a computer or something like that. I have to really think about what I'm saying, and it really must mean something to me, as I said before.
Themes you write about, where do they come from?
Personal experiences, people I study, people who meant or mean a lot to me presently, situations, for example, things that happened in the last years, or things that I feel that will happen in the future. First I think about a theme or a story or a headline of a story, and I sort of think about it for days or months or whatever you think, and then I start. Once I get down to writing it, then it doesn't take an hour. But I first must get the theme of what I'm doing, or what it means to me. And I study the person who I'm writing about, But of course, all the people that I write about, or the things, they're really sort of heavy subjects, people that really influence my life in some way or other,
Formerly, a few minutes before, we've always been talking about live acts, and we came to the conclusion that it's very difficult to have a live gig here in Germany on stage anywhere, because there are no places, there are no stages, and apart from that, there is no necessity to be live on stage. Why am I wrong?
I think there is a necessity to be live on stage. If you talk about, I think one must have this experience, but I've had it for 14 years, so I thought, I've done it all, like the cabaret sports in England, and and I was also in Israel, which we did really nice concerts there. But to appear at discos or the small clubs here, I sort of thought, and I sort of got beyond that about now. And of course I will do it again, but not on the same wavelength. I really would like to appear a few times a year. But I really wouldn't like to go on tour like for 3 months or something like that and appear every night somewhere, If it's just for the money or something like that, it's not so important. Okay, money is really also quite important, but one can make just as much money as well composing or taking stock and realizing what is happening to one's own self.
The songs on your last released LP are all written by Watson T. Browne. Brings me to an idea, because they are different from the typical disco sounds. They are not as artificial. We have no electronics on this record. Why do you avoid, for example, those electronics?
I don't think electronics sort of help me at all.
In fact, if I had my own way, I would sort of go into the studio with a few classical musicians and say what I want to say, poem-wise. But with the market as it is today, one must use so many things, bass guitar and drums, hitting out loudly and play a little bit. What I want to say is that we have to make a sort of compromise. Yeah. Still, although I don't want to make a compromise, but we have to sort of put a beat in somewhere, or probably make a slight reggae influence somewhere, or maybe a little bit that people can dance to, or something, that one does not get too monotonous or boring.
Germany has become a market for funky music. The Munich sound is worldwide known. And can you explain it, or do you think there's any explanation why that funky music from Germany is such a success worldwide?
I mean, God knows. Actually, this is strange that you said that. I was very, very amazed when we were in Barbados holidaying last year that people knew the Munich sound. This really struck me as something. And we had a couple of songs which weren't published as yet, which we played also on the radio in Barbados. And they immediately recognized that's Munich. That's a Munich sound. I don't know how they do it, because I can't do it. I couldn't say this is the Munich sound, because I'm really not interested in Munich sound. I'm really not interested in the sound that Munich brings out. I'm interested in the sound that Watson T. Browne can bring out to first please the people that are immediately concerned with me and myself as well.
Well, I can tell you why I put the last question, because I wanted to find the reason why Watson T. Browne is now working in Munich or in Germany.
Working. Presently, I'm only working in the studios, and I'm not doing anything live, as I told you before. It's really not interesting for me to do anything live right now. What was your question again?
I can tell you. The question was why Watson T. Browne is just working in Germany. If the reason could be that the Munich sound is so famous and you wanted to jump on that train that comes from Germany and goes all over the world, or is there any other reason?
No, I never jump on any train. Otherwise, I think I would have I would have been a success a long time ago. Mm-hmm. If I was the type of person that can jump on trains, in fact, I prefer jumping on planes, but but it doesn't work. It doesn't work for long in the long run. It doesn't work if you jump on a train, because this is the trend at the moment. Because people will soon find you out. People find out hypocrites very, very quickly, and you'll be very disappointed. And this is why I was talking to a good friend last night, a very famous person, I don't want to mention his name now, and he took a long time before he came up with his own thing as well, which is was incredible music this man is playing, and he thoroughly sort of agrees with me that one must stick it out if you have the strength to and the willpower to stick it out until somebody or some company or something believes in this is Watson Browne, this is what he can do. We don't force him to do anything else. This is the man's capabilities. We don't try to make him play jazz or funk or disco or whatever it is. And this is the man. You have to accept him as that. And that's it.
Brings me to an interesting point. What kind of music do you make? Because we Germans, we always want to find some category of music. We say this is jazz and this is pop music and this is folk music, and we have our own wardrobe for each type of music. And which kind of music would you describe as your music?
Very interesting. You said that. I was talking to my publisher on the phone yesterday, and he says, I said, I don't want to categorize anything that I says we never categorize you, Watson. This is my publisher, and this is the man who bought me.
Yeah.
And when I hear this from somebody like that who's the man in the business for I think 29 years or 20 something years, then I really feel more confident in what I'm doing and sort of will go along the way I am.
But I can tell you something, just for explanation. Here, your manager, your promoter, your publisher said he never categorizes you. And if you look in the building of, for example, this radio station, and you look the people who make the music, you have a specialist for jazz, you have a specialist for folk, you have a specialist for hard rock, a specialist for and so on and so on. And now they decide who's going to play Watson T. Browne.
Maybe nobody.
No, surely not, because otherwise I wouldn't do this interview. Surely they're going to play you, but who would you say is the man who's going to play your music? The funk specialist?
No.
Well,
I do not think that the funk specialist would play my music. In fact, I didn't expect anybody to play it, but if they play
anyway, you must get the butter on your bread in the morning to live from.
Yeah, I've done that before, and I know how to do it the hard way.
I see.
As well, you know. I mean, I know how to live. I'm not ever feeling sorry for myself. Sorry.
Okay,
go.
Right.
Shall I say a few words in German? No. For sure, what I can say for sure is that people who are into jazz would not play Watson T. Browne. You know, I think so anyway. I mean, I don't go to the radio stations myself and plug myself. You know, I only have my own thoughts, but I don't worry about it too much, because as I said, I worried. You know, like something like 12, 14 years. Yeah. It comes to time, I don't worry so much now. I want to please a few people in the company. Yeah. After I please myself, which is really a great happiness for me. Like, you know,
making music is to please yourself.
Yeah,
the first line.
Yeah, the first line is this. I mean, this is you can't exaggerate on, but this is what it is. I please myself first, but I was always looking for this type of deal, where somebody really accepts me and say, first, Watson, you know, you please yourself and you sit down home and you do what you feel is right for you.
Yeah.
And but it's I would say a strange coincidence that what I do that is right for me, so in the meantime pleases the people who are immediate you know responsible for me, pleases them extremely, and I'm really happy for this. Instead of sort of doing some things which I was advised to do when I was in Miami last year. At the Music Expo, they said I had a few talks with some people down there who says, you know, great, you know, great voice, but your material, no, we can't sell it. So, in the long run, let's go to New York. We have backing tracks. They're all ready for you, straight on the disco. You just put your voice on there, and that's it, Watson. You know. But anyway, if one was hard up or something for money or something like that, and you did prostitute on that line, which I call prostitution anyway, there's no 100% security that you're going to make a load of money or something like that. Anyway, if you did make that lot of money, you would still be unhappy. This is for sure.
But I think you've got to combine two souls in your heart. On the one side, you have to earn money for your living. On the other side, you don't want to address anybody special, but please yourself. I think that's the reason that there are two things you must combine, or am I wrong?
One finds, after a very long time in the business, one finds a way, I should think, or one suss's out what's happening. You make a small compromise, maybe. You know, for instance, on the LP, there are a couple of songs which are going like in the in the mode, slightly disco mode, which means that people want to dance sometimes, you know. So you make something with the beat in it. It doesn't go against my lyrics, but I think on those numbers, people will never listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
You know, they probably will get up and dance, but they never listen, especially here in Germany.
Okay. Interesting. How do you find your tunes? Is there a way that you, or can you just sit down, concentrate and say, now I must find a tune? Or is it just always incident that you come to a melody, to a tune?
It's purely, really 100% purely incident. It comes really just like that. The last number I wrote, which is I think possibly would be the next single. We were holidaying in Tyrol, and we were outside the house. It's a country house there with my management and my girlfriend and that, you know. And they were sitting outside, and we had a bottle of red wine, you know. And then this house has about 13 rooms, and I went up to one of the rooms and I picked up the guitar. And this melody came, I don't know from where, you know. So, but I think it was an incredible melody at that point. And this is how most of the songs happen.
And this is the title for the music. For which title?
This is for my new LP. These are songs I'm talking about for my new LP now. The other songs, they come. Really, I never plan anything out from before. When I go to my music room, I sit down. I come out most times with nothing.
What does it mean, your music room?
Well, I have a room in the place I live, where I have my piano and my guitar, and you know, it's a small room that I use for concentrating in, you know. But most times, if I get up 7 in the morning and I go in there for half an hour and nothing happens, I just go back to bed. And this is nearly, I mean, it never happens. Sometimes you can't force anything to sort of happen. When something happens, it just happens. If it doesn't click off from the beginning, I just forget it. I put my guitar down and I switch off the piano and I go back to bed and I read. I'm reading a lot of classical books. I'm reading a lot of Thomas Hardy and Dostoevsky, and I get very melodramatic when I'm reading this stuff, you know, and I sort of go out on my own limb, you know, and I'm alone when I go out there, and I feel very romantic and everything, so I get this sort of inspiration that to do something, because these stories are very sad also, and sometimes very depressing and sometimes happy, but most times it's a tragedy, and
why tragedy?
Hardy is very depressing. You know, doesn't mean all my music is depressing or something, but I learn a lot from reading. You know, it's my great love. I love it more than even songwriting or whatever. So when I read a lot and I get into this sort of mood, you know, then I can sort of go into my room and I come up with something. First I come up with a theme, you know, a story, and then I you know, fish around for some chords on the guitar or on the piano, and that's what comes out in the end. But as far as the last LP was concerned, it was not exactly so, although I was reading a lot as well at the time. These were actual happenings that happened in that era when I left Saint-Tropez and I went to Geneva. I thought of myself in that way, like searching for a star, if you listen to the lyrics. And I saw myself in that way. So I put down maybe a few lines of the song. And I'm not a great musician or something. I'm not even a good musician. Yeah. I'm not modest.
You're fishing for compliments.
No, no.
What are you doing right now?
I am the least modest man on the face of the earth. So.
Okay. Everybody's
So-
laughing right now. I know what you mean.
So believe me, if I was
not at all.
some great musician, I will tell you
Okay.
straight off. Maybe I will play for you here as well. But I just use my instruments for composing. Yeah, just to find my chords very slowly. I said that I don't write more than so many songs per year. I said that before. Maybe I can't write more. You know,
Possible too, yeah.
it's just possible. You know, it's possible from my handicap, from music, my musical handicap. I'm not a great musician. But it's I mean, it's good if it's good enough for whoever I'm dealing with presently, which is the company house here, and it's good enough for me as well.
Final question, really final question. You just said you can provocate mood. You can look for typical moods by reading. But are you sure about the fact that you can influence people, that you can create mood in a certain type of mood in people by music, for example by your music?
I mean, I hope so, but I am not sure that I can do any of these things that you mentioned. I am not sure that I can influence anyone. You know, but one must find a way sometimes, you know, because I told you before, if you try to do something that is not you, it's gonna come out sometime in the end that it's, you know, people realize it's not you. I feel I am 100% right on this, you know. Maybe you make a disco record or a choppy cheap or something like this, and everybody will jump and dance and clap their hands, and then you will go home. Maybe you make, you know, a lot of money or something like that. But I really wonder what will happen to the person or the artist. If he has a will of his own, or if he has a personality of his own, or if he feels he has a personality of his own and wants to portray himself after so many years in the business, he wants to do something, to prove something to himself, which is a great happiness, as you would know. Whether doing something like this just because you want to make some quick money, I'm sure one wouldn't be happy. I can't see this.
Okay, thank you so much. This was for the tape, and for me to hope you have soon a chance to find a cheap tape recorder.